Hey guys, I'm still in section 4.1. I'm on page 330, and we're still talking about finding ways to represent ordered pairs. So on this page, I just wanted to show you kind of a couple of examples here of another way to kind of organize ordered pairs. This is by using a table. And this is a very efficient way to kind of explain to you what we want you to plug in. So for instance, here for A, so for this first entry, obviously I want you to plug in x equals 3. And so there's some space underneath, so you can actually go ahead and do that. So if I go ahead and I just plug in x equals 3, so then I find that I get negative 12 plus 5, and that will equal negative 7. So then that's what I want to plug in as the other part of the entry. Now going to the next row, now I see that I want to plug in y equals negative 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So now I've got negative 3 equals negative 4x plus 5. And now I've just got to go through the work to solve for x. So to do that, I'll subtract 5 from each side. Let's see, try to make sure that you guys can still see. So let's see, this will equal negative 8 equals negative 4x. Divide each side by negative 4. And so you get x equals 2. So I'm just going to write that up in the table up here. Okay, so now let's do the last one together. So I'll just go ahead and clear all of this off. And if you need to write that work down, feel free to just pause the video or back it up a little bit so you can write it down. Okay, so now for this last one, so now I need to just plug in y equals 1. And so now once again, I got to solve for x. So I'll start by subtracting off the 5. So now I get negative 4 equals negative 4x. And then divide both sides by negative 4, so you get x equals positive 1, so I'll just put that here. Okay, so that's kind of the idea behind this. So what I want you to do is I want you to do that for B. Hit play when you're ready. Okay, so we'll start with just plugging in a equals 0. So I'm plugging in a equals 0, so then I got to solve for B. So the nice thing is if you use 0, it just drops everything out, right? So now I've just got negative 4b equals negative 8. Divide both sides by negative 4, so I'll get b equals 2, so I'll just leave it as that. Okay, now let's do the next one. So I'm going to plug in 0 for b, so this becomes 2a minus 4 times 0 equals negative 8. So now once again that 0 part will drop out, so this is 2a equals negative 8. Divide both sides by 2, and now I'll get that a must equal negative 4. And then finally, why don't I just go ahead and erase so I can get a little space here. So now I'm going to plug in a equals 5, so I'll go ahead and erase all of this. Again, if you need to write any of that down, just rewind and pause. Okay, so now I'm going to plug in a equals 5. So, okay, now I've actually got to go through some work to solve this. So this becomes 10 minus 4b equals negative 8. Subtract the 10. So now I get negative 4b equals negative 18. Divide both sides by negative 4. And so 18 cannot be evenly divided by negative 4. So we're just going to simplify this to 9 over 2. So not all of your answers will be beautiful whole numbers. So sometimes that'll happen. It's no big deal. Okay. So now that we've got that, so I just want to do a really quick refresher on plotting points. Now, if you feel like you're solid on plotting points and you don't feel like you need to do this page, you can skip to the next page. So that's actually the last part I'm going to cover in this video, so you can just move on to the next one. But if you want a quick review, just hang on. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just give you a quick rundown and a quick reminder of kind of how some of this works. So I've got 4 points here that I want to graph. So let's do point A. A will be 2, 3, B will be negative 1, 4, we'll make C 0, negative 3, and then we'll make D, how about negative 4, 0. Okay, so just as a reminder, this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. And starting here at the center, this is the point 0, 0. So if you go this way, this is the positive x direction, this is the negative x direction, this is the positive y direction. This is the negative y direction. So for a point like A for 2, 3, so remember all of these points are going to go in the x comma y format. So first I need to go to 2 on the x-axis. So let's see, I'll come over here. I start here at 0, 0. I go 1, 2. And now I need to go up to 3 on the y-axis. So I'm here at 0. Here's 1, 2, 3. So that's where I need to plot that point then, and I'm just going to label that as an A. So why don't you try the other 3 points? Hit play when you're ready. Okay, so for B here, so now I'm going to go to -1, and so that's -1 to the left, and then I go up 1, 2, 3, 4. So that would be this point right here. Then for C, so this one can throw people off sometimes. So this is 0, so remember this is the x-axis, so I'm just going to stay right here. And then I have to go down 3 on the y-axis. So that's 1, 2, 3. So there's my C right there. And then finally for D, so now I go -4 on the x-axis. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And I just stay on the x-axis because it says 0 for my y. So there we go. Okay, so that was one thing that I wanted to just refresh your memory on. And then the other thing is, so sometimes we might have to scale things, and sometimes we also might not have to have everything in terms of A and B. So here's an example that we might not have everything in terms of X and Y. Sorry about that. I was thinking about this example. Okay, so what I have here is I want to plot this solution set where A equals 20 and B equals 30. But I told you that the graph stands for X and Y. So I just want to make sure you understand how to translate that. So remember, our coordinates in general will go in alphabetical order. So this will be A, comma B. So now instead of this being the x-axis, this will now be my a-axis, and instead of this being the y-axis, this will be my b-axis. Okay, that's one thing I wanted to tell you about. And then obviously I can't count up 20 or 30 in either direction. So then I just have to scale everything. And it's kind of up to you how you want to do the scaling. So if you want to do this in terms of 5s, this could be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So you could just have that in each direction. So that's always something that could be a possibility when you're graphing. So you just want to keep that in mind. So now that I just know how I might, redo my scaling, so then I can go ahead and plot 20, 30. So this is 20, 30. So here's 20, and then I go up 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You could have also done this by tens, and then your point would just be a bit lower and closer over here. That's totally fine. But that's all I wanted to kind of remind you of in this video. So if you're good, then I'll see you guys in the next video.